Nellish, but not really.
Blonde?
Yeah, I think so. Can't remember.
God. She's really made an impression on me.
Bailey said she feels safe with Memphis. Oh yeah, there was lots of people kind of saying they feel safe with Memphis kind of talk.
Bailey said that. Well, later on she went to him and came out not feeling safe because
Oh.
she played the VIP suite.
That's because Memphis is making
VIP
people
suite,
making,
safety suite.
making people sweat a bit,
He
you know.
is.
Yeah, because he was going to everyone, wasn't he? Oh, you're not really safe. You should probably play this week. And he was trying to get his own alliance to play as well.
He said, if you don't feel safe, you should take your own game into your own hands.
Did you know the safety suite only the last week of it is next week? So you only get 3 chances to play in it.
I felt that Memphis was trying to get as many safety suite passes out of play as possible.
Yeah, he was, which is a good strategy, isn't it? Even from his own alliance, which is.
And then if you don't use it, he comes for you.
But then should he be getting his own alliance to use it? Because then if one of them
Not his own alliance. Who's in his own alliance?
No, he was.
Used it?
He said 2 of us need to use it from our own alliance so that it doesn't look suspicious.
Oh.
But
well,
then, yeah, I suppose
plan.
if it's only 2, it's fine, isn't it? So then, outgoing have-nots have to choose the new have-nots for the week.
Oh, I missed this.
Yeah, Memphis chose David. I've put, this doesn't bode well for him. And then Emphasis
on.
Memphis said he was trying to get David to break down. He's the rookie. We already did that to him last week and last series.
Yeah, why are you trying to get to break down?
Yeah,
It's a bit
what the
much.
fuck? God, did you learn nothing?
Just vote him out. Is that not enough?
No, let's break his spirit as well. Ian said, does anyone want to volunteer to be a have-not? And Nicole said, I'll do it. And then...
Nicole F.
Yeah, surprisingly. And then Nicole A chose Christmas, as she thinks he'd be a good sport. And Kevin chose Kaiser. David said, I'm sure I'm going up. Memphis said, the easy way is to put up Nicole A and David. So 2 weak players to put up.
This is a very weak game though, isn't it? I would have thought for an oldie, an old schooler, you'd want to come in and get out a big player quickly.
But then would you put up 2 of those weak players and then backdoor someone big?
Maybe.
Maybe that's the move. So Cody suggested Ian, which I didn't like. Bailey was talking about, this is what we were talking about earlier, talking about growing up in a very white neighbourhood. I actually remember her saying that when she was on previously.
Really? Mm-hmm.
Davon was saying all the different racial slurs that she'd been called. I was quite surprised they showed that.
I do remember this being a conversation which, again, I thought, wouldn't normally hear this. Yeah.
I've written Davon and Bailey are both stunning. Black people are a lot better looking than white people. And then Davon was crying in the diary room and said she sees the beauty in herself now. Bailey said she was scared to have children.
Oh, yeah, how she had to come to terms with her skin and stuff.
Yeah. Bailey said she was scared to have children because bringing them into the world where people are racist.
With a dad or swaggy
yeah, that would be worrying. Baby C. And then Davon said she talks to her daughter about Black Lives Matter, and she said children are taught racism. They're not just... No child is born racist, which is very true.
Yeah, I wonder how old Davon's daughter is.
I think they showed her in the clip. I think she's like, 6-ish maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite young to be having those conversations with, though.
In a way,
though. It's quite a heavy
though.
issue for a small child.
In a way, though, don't you think you have to have those conversations with a child before they go to school and someone's racist to them?
Yeah.
Because that stuff starts young.
Yeah.
Really young. And if you've grown up totally oblivious and then someone says that to you at school, that could really fuck you. I mean, it would fuck you up anyway, but it could... Best to be prepared, I suppose.
We watched a documentary on Channel 4 and it was called The Talk, and it was about that subject. When the parents...
Oh, yeah. I saw that advertised. Was that good?
Of having that conversation. Yeah, I thought it was quite good, but some people were critical of it for not including a broad range of people.
Oh, yeah.
But, to be fair, they got who they could, and they were celebrities, mostly. So,
I see. I mean, isn't it despicable that people actually have to do that because of ignorant fucking racist people?
Yeah.
It's absolutely disgusting.
There was one, I can't remember who it was that was discussing it, but there was a discussion about becoming aware of the N-word being offensive because someone was called it at school, and then only after being told, like, that's a bad word, like, that's a bad thing, did they become conscious of it? So then that person questioned, well, had things been said to me before and I didn't know about it? So then there is this kind of ignorance is bliss kind of thing. There's potential when you're small, you don't know any better.
It's hard, isn't it? I suppose it's a bit like teaching children about paedophiles or whatever. It's like, what age can you do that without ruining their childhood?
We used to have stranger danger, didn't we? Which I'm sure they still have in schools now. It's
just
like you
say
don't need
no.
to go to the details
Just say no was for drugs, wasn't it? But also, don't get into the back of that van.
Yeah.
Don't go and see those puppies.
Yeah, it's always about going to see the puppy, yeah.
But it is, you can do it without going into the details, can't you?
But with racism, can you?
Not tell me, because you watched that program.
Yeah.
What do you actually say? Like, some people are just ignorant fucking cunts, and you're gonna have to put up with it for the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah, exactly,
that's what I'd say.
I'm not sure
what do you actually say in that situation? Like, some people are brought up wrong, or some people are just thick, or some people are just cruel.
Some people are going to say nasty things because of the way you look, and that's just the way it is. Isn't it horrible?
But if I was a kid, I'm sure I'd just be like, but why? And there is no answer why.
Yeah.
That's the sick part.
Yeah. And Dan and I have been talking about this lately. Like, imagine trying to find out, like, why a racist person thinks that way. There isn't a reason. They're never going to give you a logical reason because there isn't a logic to it.
Don't you think it's just passed down, isn't it? Just
like
passed
the
down.
first thing you're taught. Didn't Davon say something about that?
Yeah, she said there's no...
You're not born racist.
No, you're not born racist. Don't you think that's sick that there's, babies are born and they could be perfectly normal and then they're just born to those families and then they just become National Front people or whatever? That is actually child abuse. Don't you think? Me and Jack were talking about... Jack is very anti-religion, and he was saying, like, teaching children about religion is basically child abuse, which I don't think it is, because I think you have an option when you get older to sort of make your own mind up. But then you can be indoctrinated so far that there is no mind left to make up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's...
Well, I like that. There's no mind left to make up. You're right.
It's tricky, isn't it? Because of course, as a parent,
religion is also not a problem until it's extreme as well.
No, as a parent, it's within your rights to teach. Because there was these kids like performing Morrissey songs like with their mum and dad, like on this Morrissey page would go on, and he said, "Oh, don't you think that's cruel? Like the parents making them like play alongside Morrissey songs." I said, "No, because the kids probably like it because the parents like it, and it's a shared thing that they all enjoy doing." And he's like, what a load of rubbish, parents forcing children to be into certain types of music. I was like, you can't force a child to be into a certain type of music.
No.
Don't you think a lot of it is just culturally what you grow up with? You pick up on it. Yeah.
Like,
you can go one way or the other on it. So you may end up hating Morrissey because of that, or you may end up loving it.
Yeah. And when you were a kid, I'm sure you kind of liked your parents' music in a way because it's what you heard. It's like what you were exposed to. But then this is the same theory of like you pick up what you get from the world, like from your parents, and what you're exposed to is what you end up kind of taking on. But you're right, you can take it or leave it to a point when you're older. Well,
Derren Brown famously was brought up in a very religious environment, and he investigated it to sort of prove doubters wrong when he, was arguing about theology with doubters, basically. And when he investigated it, he realised it was just a load of rubbish, and then he wasn't religious anymore. So if you're smart like him, not saying you're wrong if you're religious, you can like whatever you want, but if you're smart like him and you have that sort of critical thinking, then fine. But if you're being brought up by a racist and you're not necessarily reading any books or being smart, then it's a different story, isn't it?
But also, I think we tend to assume that racism is a class issue, but
oh, I don't. Poshos are racist.
Exactly,
as fuck.
but you get posh racist people too.
Posh people are the worst for being racist. Posh people are awful.
I think there's two things that contribute to it. It's like lack of education, which is probably one of the class issue-based racism, and then lack of exposure to anything other than what you know.
And that's probably what the posh people have, like going to boarding school and there's not many black people there. In a way, I suppose it kind of comes back full circle, because what Davon and Bailey were talking about is this conversation being aired on Big Brother. Maybe someone who is a bit racist will watch that and be like, do you think Big Brother could help?
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I watched a video this week about interracial relationships between Asian people and black people. And, I mean, I think it's not a secret that Asian people often have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. So if...
What do you mean?
So say this guy was... the guy was Asian, it's like South Asian. His family had a problem with the fact that he was dating a black girl. And it's kind of veers towards colorism in a way, because lighter skin is seen as better in those cultures, kind of traditionally. Do
you think it's deeply ironic that minority cultures are being racist towards each other as well?
Oh yeah,
it's just like, what the fuck? Like, we got to start somewhere.
It's literally not a black and white issue. It's a whole issue. And the woman was like, oh yeah, but in this culture, like, if you get into a relationship with a black person, it's seen as like marrying down.
Oh,
but, like,
really?
if you like married a white person, that's like up, because
I see.
That's the colorism issue that's come into play. I've got to have a point about this, but I can't remember what it was.
You see it, I'll talk and maybe it'll come back to you. You see it on 90 Day Fiancé, whereas a lot of time we're like, why is this, a person from like Kenya or Ghana, like a black guy with this old lady, this old white American lady, and it's like white is seen, it's like some old bag, and it's like the whiteness is seen as so important that it kind of cancels out everything else, and a bit of money don't help. Go on.
Oh no, I can't remember my point.
You'll remember it
from the crux of it. Do you know what? This is what happens when I have a drink.
It's about
I get too tired.
Asian and black people.
But it's related to something that Dave Long said, I think.
Oh, children are taught.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Oh,
well, thanks. Basically, the black woman said when she felt that people had formed an opinion of her without even knowing her from Asian culture, people from an Asian background, and she said like when she actually, like now she's closer to her partner's mother, and when she asked like, why do you think this is a kind of a wider issue for Asian people? Why do you think they think like this? And when questioned, she said, I actually don't know. Like, there's actually no point to this. There's no logic. And not until someone is really asked why would they consider, so you might be right. Maybe seeing Dave Warren express this and share this experience might make some people go, why do I think like that?
Yeah, because there's that sort of background of, well, it's always been that way. I've always thought that way.
That's the people that are like, that's how I've always done it.
Exactly. All those people. We know those people. But yeah, like it's always been done this way. Or that's just how it is. What it is. It's like the ultimate. No, it isn't what it is. Have a think about it and stop being so fucking stupid.
I'm going to go back to on the Reggie Yates thing as well from last night. This extreme kind of like borderline Nazi Russian guy. Found out that Reggie had a white great grandfather.
I remember,
and he almost could not compute it.
Wow,
because Reggie was a black guy.
Reggie's quite light skinned though, isn't he? Or is he not?
Yeah, he's not dark. He's not dark. This guy like couldn't understand, and then he was like, so do you think like he said like people that mix the gene pool or whatever, mix between races.
Gene mixologist.
He's like, you create mongrels. So he was.
That word.
So Reggie was like, so do you think I'm a mongrel?
Yeah.
And he went, well, yeah. And then the analogy he used was that you don't mix your colours and whites in the laundry. As if that was.
I know he's not going to be getting an Ariel advert anytime soon, is he?
I don't know.
Don't you think that word is just absolutely disgraceful, mongrel? It's just,
that's dehumanising.
It's just, that makes me shiver.
But the thing was, this guy, his argument for keeping white people pure and stuff was like, if you mix between races, then eventually you're going to have problems like diseases and things, which is actually the complete opposite. If you keep inbreeding between white people only in a small pool of people, that's when you're going to get birth defects and genetic defects.
That's true.
But if you improve the sort of range, it's proven that mixed race people have got much better immune systems because they're taken from the immunity of that race
and it takes the best of both, and it takes the best of both worlds. That's why mixed race people are good looking, because it looks at those shitty genes like, we don't need that, let's just take these good bits.
Exactly.
It's just,
but it's funny how this guy obviously had been told at some point that if you mix it up, it's bad, and that's when you get